With me today is the KWA HK USP gas blowback airsoft pistol. This is the NS2 version. It's been out for a couple years and I've wanted one ever since it came out, but I haven't been able to get one until now. This one I bought used on an airsoft forum, so I don't have all the bells and whistles that it originally comes with, like the HK trademarked box. But on the other side, it does have a couple things that like if you buy it new, it won't have, such as the user before me removed the orange tip, which is why you don't see one on here now. And on the other side, which I'll show you in a second, the guy whited out, or not white out, but he removed the white labels and stuff. It's basically just warning labels from the trademarking company Umarex. But that's not important. So, some technical details about the gun. You know, velocity is average for a gas blowback airsoft pistol. It's about 300, 280, maybe a little higher, like 330. I mean, it depends on the day you're shooting it, such as the weather, and of course the weight of the BB that you're using. Now, KWA is a well-revered company. They're known for making pretty good quality stuff. Of course, people will argue that their AEGs aren't quite what they're hyped up to be, but their blowback pistols are pretty good, and they do make some decent gas blowback rifles. This is actually my first KWA product, and I haven't had it for too long, but I have been able to shoot it and just play around with it for a little bit, and I gotta say, it's a pretty impressive pistol. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you some features. Now, like all gas blowback pistols, it functions just the same. Pull the slide back, pull the trigger. Now, it's no magnet. The USP, just like the real USP made by HK, is a double action, single action pistol. Let me explain that real quick, because this is a concept that gets, people confused. Right now, the hammer is forward, as you can see, and now, like I already said, there's nothing in the gun. And if you pull the trigger, it's a long trigger pull, and it's double action because the first action is pulling the hammer back, and the second action is releasing it and firing. Now, single action is after you've already fired a shot. The hammer is back, the trigger is back, the trigger pull is much lighter, much smoother, and the travel distance isn't nearly as far. Now, as you just saw, I just used the decocking function. This is a pretty cool function for an airsoft gun. When the gun is cocked, let's say, okay, a real world scenario, when you're playing in a game, the game's over and you have to go back to the staging area. They make you decock your guns, make them totally safe. In order to do this, all you have to do is take the safety lever right here and just pull it down, and the hammer goes down and the gun is totally safe. If there were a magazine in there, it would not fire that round. And that's a pretty cool safety feature. And it does have an actual safety as well. So it's on safety, and I can pull the trigger, the hammer goes back a little bit, but it will not fire. Now, another safety feature that this gun has, and this is kind of a pointless one, and I'm not really going to be able to show you, but yeah, it doesn't really matter. There's a screw inside the mag well, and if you turn it, it basically activates a magazine safety, I believe it's called, and the gun won't fire unless there's a magazine in it. The person who I bought this from lost that little key to turn that screw, I guess, so I've never been able to try it out, and I don't really care for it anyways. Now I'm going to show you some of the trademarks and things, just because the trademarks really make this gun unique. I mean, I think KJW makes a USP also, but they don't have any trademarks. So it says HK USP on the front, and of course it says 6mm caliber, trademark, serial number. There's another serial number on the bottom, which I don't think is unique to the gun, because I looked up pictures of this gun online and they all seem to have the same serial number. And then on the other side, now if you buy this new, it will have white warning labels here and here along the slide. And like I said, the person before me removed those with acetone. It's just white paint. And also on the breech, or the outer barrel, whatever you want to call it, it also says HK 45 and a serial number. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to disassemble this gun. It's very simple. It's kind of similar to disassembling a 1911, but I think it's a lot easier. So what you have to do is pull the slide back until this notch, right where the top of my finger is, lines up right about there. You can see the metal part sticking through. And then on the other side, you push it out. And then slide comes off. And I don't think I mentioned this, but the entire frame is made out of a polymer plastic, just like the real USP. But of course it has metal internals, so the guide rails are metal. Everything that needs to be metal is. And the slide is also metal. It's pretty lightweight though. The whole gun, even though it has some heft to it, it's rather lightweight. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to disassemble the slide. And while I'm doing that, I'll also show you the hop-up, because the hop-up on this gun is a little different than other guns that you may be used to. So the first thing you have to do is pull the spring guide rod, and then you flip this piece up. And then the spring guide and the springs come right out. Now to remove the barrel, very simple, just pull it out. Now you have the outer barrel with the hop-up in the inner barrel, and then the slide, which has the blow-back unit, and I'm not going to need that for now. So now here's the outer barrel. And now I mentioned this earlier, this is all polymer or plastic, if you may. And the hop-up is in the same spot as most, I mean it's the same hop-up as any other pistol, but to adjust it is a little bit different. If you can see around the edges, it's kind of serrated. Now most pistols have some kind of wheel on the side that you have to turn. That requires you to remove the outer barrel or remove the slide from the frame to adjust the hop-up. But on this gun you can adjust the hop-up while everything's still attached. You just have to lock the slide back. And normally you need a tool, which the gun comes with. I don't have it because I bought it used and it was not included. But that's not really a big issue because you can use something like a screwdriver, something. You just have to turn this. I don't really like this hop-up all that much. It's accurate, but I'm using 0.25 gram BBs, so any shooting you see in this video will be done with Elite Force 0.25 gram BBs. And in order to get the right amount of hop-up, like the most ideal flat trajectory, I believe the hop-up is turned up most of the way. So, oh, look at that. The inner barrel. It's not bronze. I believe it's steel. And I believe it's also a type bar. It may be something like a 6.04 millimeter inner barrel. I'm not positive on that. But while I'm still talking about the hop-up, I found it to be a rather difficult hop-up to take apart and put back together. If you're not familiar with the way that KWA does their hop-up systems, instead of having like a nub that's pressed down by an arm, they use like this little metal ball, like a ball bearing, and it's easy to lose, and it's not as ideal as like a nub, like the traditional method. But it works, and it's accurate. It's just a little annoying to adjust and to take apart. But other than that, that's the hop-up. Now, one more thing that I want to show you, which I should have shown you earlier, is the recoil system, which is because it's pretty cool. I should have done this earlier because it was a part. Now, even with the real HK USPs, they have this special recoil system. I don't know what it's called. I'm not gonna try to make up something, but let's see if you can see this. It's two springs. You have the main recoil spring that goes the whole length, and then right here there's a shorter spring. And I'm not going to be able to simulate this. I just wanted to show you. I'll show you when it's back on the gun. Now, it doesn't make much of a difference in airsoft because there isn't much recoil anyways, but you can hear and feel when you get to that second spring. Let me see if I can do this on video. So right there is the length of the first spring, and then, I'm sorry, it actually goes until here, and then that last little bit is the second spring. Maybe easier if I put the thing back in. And so even though it doesn't really do anything for airsoft, it's just a cool thing that KWA replicated very nicely. This is the magazine it comes with. Nothing special about it except that at the bottom it says 45. That pertains to 45 caliber, which is what the real gun is. And then on the bottom it says HK. I don't know if you'll be able to see that. And I have some BBs in it. I was shooting it a little bit, so it still has a good amount of gas in it. But I'm just going to show you how it functions. Now, I mentioned something about the NS2 gas system not quite being as great as they say it is. Gas efficiency, it does last, as long as it's supposed to. FPS is pretty consistent, but it cools down pretty fast. Just from filling up the magazine, the mag gets cold. And I'm used to shooting KJW 1911 pistols. That's my other gun that I use. And the magazine doesn't get cold just from filling it up. So that's something different about this gun. Alright, so it is now loaded. And I'm just going to shoot. Let's see. Nothing too fancy. Let me see from the other side. Let me take a few more shots until it locks up. And that's it. And the magazine was about half full. And just from shooting it, I mean, you saw me, I wasn't really shooting it too fast, but it's already pretty cold. And so I haven't used the gun very long term, but it's just something that other guns I have don't do. It doesn't get this cold that fast. And with that, I've pretty much covered everything there is about the KWA HK USP gas blowback airsoft pistol. I'm going to do a little bit more shooting of it, and if you have any questions, just let me know.